Hey guys, we're on Australian Survivor Season 9, Episode 9. All right, this was an interesting episode because it sort of make or break for a lot of alliances. All right, so last time we had Sophie getting voted out. It was a majority vote. Khan was kind of in danger a little bit. His name was brought up because Sam wanted Sophie out. That kind of saved him. We come to this episode and Sam is still thinking about getting rid of Khan's idol, but Khan trusts her for some reason. I don't understand why anyone trusts Sam, but Khan trusts Sam, and he's telling her his entire game while she's plotting on getting rid of his idol because it might be too great of a danger for her. And then you have Croc and Chrissy, who have an idol that no one knows about. So it's good for them that no one knows about it. Too bad. I'm hoping that the second half of the idol that Khan has somehow comes back into play so they can get that super idol going again. Anyway, so we're gonna come into and you have a dynamic on the blood tribe, red tribe, that I didn't notice before. So I thought Jordy was kind of leading everything, and it seemed like Mark was leading for a while, and then it switched to Jordy, and now it seems to be that Josh is the one that's in the lead, which I didn't see because just for him being on the same tribe with his cousin, it kind of seemed like that would have made them a target. But apparently his social game is so good that he's also able to protect his cousin. And a lot of people want to be on side with him, but they worried that his cousin is there. And Amy, who previously had a good relationship with Jordan, even though they kind of split a little bit because Jordan couldn't really protect her, even though he gave her a warning about she needs to play her idol. She then turns around and sort of threw him under the bus and tell everybody what he told her, which I think fractured their relationship a little bit. And now they're on the same tribe together. Once again, and he's with his cousin. He spends a lot of time with his cousin, and she's kind of on her own. I think she's trying to bank on that old relationship sort of building again, but because of the dynamic with the two cousins, she's not really making any headway. So she has to decide what to do going forward. All right, so come to the first, the reward challenge. The reward, by the way, is fish and chips. All right, so this is the challenge right there. As you can see, it's like a game of tug-of-war with these poles. So they're going to have two tribe mates from each tribe. One is going to be pulling, and the other is going to be standing on the opposite end, just standing right there on the plank that's hanging off. And what they have to do is pull the log towards their side and knock over the opponent's person that's going to be standing on the edge of that plank. All right. See if we can get an example of how it goes. There we go. All right. This is the first one. It's going to be Mark and Croc again, once against each other. And you got brothers Jordy and Jesse going against on the opposite side. So what's Croc trying to do? He's trying to knock over Jordy, and Mark is trying to knock over Jesse. And that's the first one. I believe Mark wins that one again. He just has a huge weight advantage on Croc, even though they constantly compete against each other. Croc he doesn't have the strength advantage because of the weight. He's basically wrestling against Mark's weight and strength. And Mark is also taller than him, just taller and weighs more. So there's not much that he can do, especially because he doesn't have a lot of finesse. He's mostly just strength. He's not very athletic in any other way. So he can't compete with someone that's stronger than him. And he only has one tool in his box. So there's not much he can do. So he's constantly losing every time they go up against each other. Right, but in the end, I think the second one to win was the blue tribe, and it was Chrissy again pulling out the win, in the last immunity challenge, she was one of the ones that lasted the longest, and she pulled out a win again in this competition, going up against Mel, who has a weight advantage on her. But I guess not the upper body strength. Like I said before, just the fact that she had so much fat in her body, that is helping her immensely going forward in this competition. All right, because she's starting to pull out wins, and she's starting to be one of the big contenders in challenges. All right, so I think the blue won the second challenge, and then I think the third challenge, the red won that one. It was Josh versus Ben on this one, and Ben almost had it. You can see right here. You see right there. You see Ben is almost like towards winning, but in the end, Josh is going to come out and take that one. So that's. Yeah. And the next one is, the last one is Croc again, but this time he's versus Jordan. All right, and Jordan was able to pull that one out in the end as well. So that means red team, 1 reward. So that's twice in a row that they won reward and they got to eat. And the blue tribe is just kind of deflated. They're losing constantly, and well, they're not losing constantly. They do pull out some wins eventually. They do pull out some wins on occasion. So you have the blue tribe sort of just demoralized from losing that challenge, and Ben is just beating himself up because of the way he lost. I guess it is just the weight loss and all of that, just the lack of energy is sort of getting to a lot of people, and it's really affecting his strength. So, I mean, it's not really his fault, but he's a highly self-critical kind of person. So it's sort of demoralizing him, and everyone is just feeling that lethargy of just not having that food, and they're all just very depressed, except for Khan. But he wants to get far enough in the game where he can use his idol towards a merge sort of situation, but everybody else is trying to get rid of his idol, and the people that he's working most closely with are also planning to get rid of his idol. And the 2 people he trusts the most are Sam and Chrissy. Chrissy has an idol, and she's not necessarily want to go against him, but she will go with the numbers. And Sam definitely wants to get rid of his idol, but you know, I assume if anyone even tells him that, he'll just turn around and just let everybody know that they told him that, just like what he did with Sophie. But I guess I can see why he didn't want to work with Sophie, but he has his blinders on like real hard right now, and it's really disappointing me because I thought he was one of the strong contenders. And I think as soon as Mark sort of turned on him, his whole game just sort of went down the toilet, especially now that everyone knows he has an idol. I think even though he thought it was a good idea to be honest and to let people know he has an idol, it didn't work in his favor. It was so early in the game, he should have hit it, and he would have been in such a better position if he hit it, but he didn't. And we have this situation right now. So the only thing he can hope is that his tribe keeps winning immunity. All right, so we come to the immunity challenge. Let's see if I can get a good. All right. All right, this is the immunity challenge right here. They have to try to high step through this obstacle, and at the end, they're going to be a stick there holding up a little what do you call that? Like an idol or an icon or something like that, and they have to place it on this pole at the end, on the end of the obstacle course, and then walk back without hitting. If they hit any of the sides of this obstacle, it'll shake and it'll probably knock off. If they have a good stack, it will knock off the stack that they have there. So they have to stack, I think, 8. They have to stack 8 little things on the pedestal. See if I can get a good picture of what they actually look like, because I don't really know the names of what they're called. All right, so they look like this right here, these things, and they're holding it with this stick right there, and they have to place it. And then each person comes through and have to place one on top of the other. All right, so both tribes were going strong in the beginning, but eventually came down. The red tribe, the blood tribe came down to this one right here, and you can see it's sort of leaning a little bit, especially the one on top. But then when Jordan comes through, he tried to place it, and he placed it flush with this one instead of trying to off balance it because of its leaning. And he tried to place it flush, and it immediately toppled, which put the red tribe behind, and the blue tribe didn't drop anything, so they won the immunity challenge. All right, so they go back to their tribe, and immediately Amy starts shopping around that they need to get rid of Jordan, which is not a good idea this early in the challenge, in the competition, because people are more likely to keep the strength of Jordan around, and Jordan also has his cousin Josh on his side that can protect him. And people trust Josh because he's straightforward, and Jordan hasn't really made any major mistakes. He hasn't tried to dominate the game or anything like that, and he doesn't pose himself as a strategic or social threat to people. But it could have worked just because people want to remove that sort of power from Josh. It could have worked. Unfortunately, she told the wrong person. She told Shay about the plan. She had a lot of people on side. She could have gotten, I think she needed like 5 people. She had like 4, with Mark being one of them. Mark is playing very much like Sam. And so he's just listening to everyone and agreeing with everyone, but he wants to go with the numbers at the end of the day. So, and even, I'll get to that later, but she's shopping around. She told Shay about it, and then Jordan noticed something was off. So he went to go talk to Shay, and immediately she told him that Amy's trying to get rid of Jordan. So then they decided to flip the vote to get rid of Amy. Originally, Mel was going home, and the target wasn't on either Jordan or Amy. But because of what Amy did, now it switched. It split between Jordan and Amy. So I think it was interesting because immediately Josh went to Mark, and he said, "This is what Amy's doing," and he's like, "She's really sneaky." And Mark is like, "Yeah, wow." Even though he already knew about it and he didn't tell them anything about it. It was the same with David. David also knew about it. He was also part of the plan. They told him about it. He acted like he had no idea. Just a lot of sneaky players in this game. And I think if I was Josh, the first thing I would have asked Shay was, who did she say was on side to actually do this blind side on Jordan? But he didn't. He just sort of like tried to flip the votes back to Amy now instead of Mel. All right. So his idea was to split the votes. 3 people are going to be voting for Mel, and 5 are going to be voting for Amy. That's his plan. If I was him, I wouldn't want to split votes in that kind of situation, but he thought he had all the numbers on his side, so he went for it. All right. So we go to the vote, and it actually went exactly as Josh thought it would. It went 3 on, I think it was 3 or 2 on Mel, and 5 on Amy, and Amy ended up going home. I think she was one of 2 people that voted for Jordan. I think there was only, no, I think it was only 1. I think she was the only one that voted for Jordan. But She made a move. It wasn't a good one. It wasn't one that I would have done. I would have gone with the Mel one for now, just to get those numbers down and just take that moment to sort of shop around the idea of Jordan to build people on my side, to let them know that, because people thought that she was working with Jordan. I would have used that sort of idea as a way to build people on my side, but not make it a current vote. She tried to get people on side and have them vote the way she wanted immediately, instead of sort of building it up. She could have really got a good alliance going if she just workshopped it instead of trying to do it immediately, because he just put people in a position where they have to go with someone that they trusted to someone that they're now building a relationship with. So in the end, it got her voted out, and it's unfortunate, but damn it. We'll see how Khan reacts. Maybe he'll change up his game and he'll stop trusting people as much, but we'll see how the next episode goes.